The Sith triumvirate nearly destroyed the Jedi, but their reign collapsed under its own hunger, pain, and betrayal. The galaxy breathed a sigh of relief, but it didn't last. Because while Nihilus and Sion burned out in chaos, a far greater shadow was waiting. A Sith Lord who had already lived for 1,000 years, who fed on entire planets, and who was building an empire in the dark. His name was Tenebrae, but history would know him as Darth Vitiate, the immortal emperor. The rise of Tenebrae, Darth Vitiate. Tenebrae was born over 1,000 years before the events we're talking about now. Even as a child, his power was terrifying. He killed his own family with the Force before he was 10 years old. And when the Dark Lord of the Sith, Marka Ragnos, discovered him, he recognized the boy's potential. Tenebrae rose fast, eventually taking the name Darth Vitiate. But here's where it gets insane. Vitiate wasn't content with ruling a world or leading an army. He wanted eternity. On his homeworld of Nathema, he performed a ritual so powerful it drained the life of every living being on the planet, millions of people, just to make himself immortal. The entire world was left dead, empty, silent. Nathema became a void in the Force, and Vitiate? He became a god who could live forever, feeding on the life of others to sustain his power. The hidden Sith Empire. After the Republic's victory in the Great Hyperspace War, the galaxy thought the Sith were gone. But Vitiate gathered the survivors, led them into the unknown regions, and rebuilt. For centuries, while the Republic recovered, he forged a new Sith Empire in secret. Entire worlds were enslaved, fleets were raised, and a dark council of Sith Lords was created to govern under his watch. And after 1,000 years in hiding, Vitiate decided the time had come to return. The Great Galactic War. In 3681 BBY, the Sith Empire launched a surprise attack on the Republic. This was the beginning of the Great Galactic War. The Sith fleets stormed across the galaxy, burning worlds, conquering systems, and bringing the Republic to its knees. Jedi and Sith clashed in massive battles not seen since Revan's time. One of the most infamous moments of this war was the Sacking of Coruscant. The Sith, led by Darth Malgus, launched a devastating surprise assault on the Republic's capital. They stormed the Jedi Temple, slaughtering defenders, and set the city ablaze. Smoke rose from the skyline as the heart of the Republic burned. The galaxy had never seen such destruction. Darth Malgus, the Conqueror. Let's talk about Malgus for a second. If Vitiate was the mastermind, Malgus was his hammer. Towering, brutal, unstoppable in combat, Malgus was the Darth Vader of his age. His most famous battle was at Alderaan, where he fought through blaster fire, Jedi Knights, and Republic soldiers to claim victory. Later, during the Sacking of Coruscant, he cut down Jedi Masters like they were nothing. He even turned on his own allies when they got in his way. Malgus believed in a pure Sith Empire, one built on strength alone, cleansed of weakness, even if it meant killing fellow Sith. Malgus became the face of the war. To the Republic, he was the monster that haunted their nightmares. To the Sith, he was the warrior they aspired to be. And to Vitiate, he was just another pawn. The Cold War. After decades of bloodshed, the Republic and the Sith signed a treaty. But this peace was a lie. The Treaty of Coruscant forced the Republic to give up key systems, handing victory to the Sith. Publicly, there was a ceasefire. Privately, both sides armed themselves, rebuilt fleets, and prepared for the next round. This era became known as the Cold War. And during this time, we meet more Sith figures who shaped the age. Darth Marr. one of the most respected Sith lords ever, a master strategist who commanded the Empire's fleets and brought honor to the Dark Council. Marr wasn't about scheming for himself. He truly believed in the strength of the Empire. Darth Baras, manipulator and political schemer, known for plots that could topple governments without firing a shot. Darth Zash, a sorceress obsessed with immortality, scheming for power through her apprentices. Darth Thanaton, a traditionalist Sith, defender of the old ways, who clashed violently with those who sought innovation. Each of these Sith added their own brand of chaos to the Empire, ensuring that even when the Republic wasn't attacking, the Sith were still tearing each other apart. The Galactic War. Eventually, the Cold War exploded into open conflict again. The Galactic War. Jedi and Sith returned to battle across dozens of worlds. But here's the twist. While the Republic and Sith were killing each other, a new threat emerged. The Eternal Empire of Zakuul, led by none other than Vitiate again. Because remember, the immortal Emperor didn't just rule as Darth Vitiate. He had also created another secret identity, Valkorion, Emperor of Zakuul. This guy wasn't just playing 4D chess. He was running two empires at the same time. The wars of this era were chaos on steroids. Sith versus Jedi, Republic versus Sith Empire, and both of them against the Eternal Empire. And through it all, Vitiate fed on the destruction, prolonging his life and keeping his grip on the galaxy. Why this era matters. This period, the Great Galactic War, the Cold War, the Galactic War, showed just how overwhelming the Sith could be when led by an immortal emperor. It introduced us to legends like Malgus, the brutal Conqueror, Marr, the honorable warlord, Baras, the schemer, Zash, the sorceress, and Thanaton, the traditionalist. It proved that the Sith didn't need just one Darth Vader. They had dozens, each terrifying in their own way. But just like always, their greatest weakness wasn't the Jedi. It was themselves. Infighting, betrayals, hidden agendas. All of it eventually fractured the Sith Empire. And though Vitiate's shadow would linger for centuries, the galaxy eventually staggered into yet another fragile piece. But the Sith weren't done. Far from it. Because even after Malgus and Marr, even after the wars of Vitiate, the Sith Order fell into one final, catastrophic civil war. The new Sith Wars. Out of that darkness rose Darth Bane, the man who wiped the board clean and created the famous Rule of Two. In the next chapter, we'll see how one Sith reshaped the entire future of the dark side.